Hello and welcome again to Forgotten Temples, Cambodia with myself, Mr. B. Now today we're at Thommanon, or Thommanon if you fancy. These things do get pronounced different ways, depends from where in the world one is, I suppose. And that means words of wisdom and teachings of the Buddha. So the wise words of Buddha would be a good way to précis that. And as you can see, it's quite the temple, isn't it? I mean, look at it. When it was found, not so long ago by that intrepid Frenchman lost in the jungle, then this one must have really wowed him. Because yet again, due to monsoon rains, we're in the Angkor Wat complex. And we must always remember when we're visiting these temples, we are visiting the homes of the gods. Because that is why they were built. They were built for gods, for deities to reside there. And people could come and visit and ask for their blessings. Now we have two gods that reside here, and that is the mighty Vishnu and the equally impressive Shiva. So, take my hand as always, and let's spend 10 minutes seeing something that's wondrously ancient. Now let us look from this point of view, because we can appreciate a very different style here. We have this building here, then coming across we have this linear building here, and then there's a break here. Can you see that? And it looks almost like an extension was built on. And then we have another building here. This is a very unique layout. I've never seen this before, and there must be a reason for it. But with so much, that answer's probably, lost in the sands of time. But where we're going to start is back over here. So, time to get the walking boots on. Let's see what we discover. And here it is. And now it was always apparent as to what this in fact is. Because look, here is a piece of a very mighty wall with the normal sort of curved top to it. So this wall would have extended along here and around here. So what we're looking at is the gateway, or the Gupura, which is also pronounced Gopura or Gopura. It's so very, some people correct me, on my pronunciation, but it just depends where you're from and so on and so on. So I like to think most people are right in some way. And doesn't this look ancient? Look at all this lovely moss, wow. It's always worth taking a pause when you see something as beautiful as this. And beauty has its own thing. In this case, beauty is a feeling. And that feeling is the past, isn't it? It's ancient and so on. But there's also something else. We need to pull out our bumper bag of imagination. Because if this is the doorway, which it is, the gateway, and behind me is the temple, then this way would have been a road, a path. And we do know that out here was a city that held 1 million people. You would not have seen a single tree. It would have been huts and fires and people talking and trade. It would be bustling. And if you know anything about Victorian London, it would be noisy, because cities always are. But now, all I can hear is the birds. It just shows how fragile civilizations are. So we spin round and we walk in the footsteps of these ancients. I am loving these walls. They are beautiful, aren't they? I love things like that, you see. It gives me a lovely warm feeling. And what we see here is a blind doorway. I'm not sure if we can actually get through there, but down the steps we go carefully. And no, we can't. What I can see just here and here are two defaced images of warriors. So they're guarding the way. But if we go over here, do you think I can clamber up? Let me just zoom in for you. We have lovely, lovely ladies. These are beautiful. Let me try this stairway. because that's the great thing, is if there's not one way through, there's usually another. And oh, hello. Oh, yes. Let's tilt the hat back so I can, oh, hello. Now, what we have here, which is rather interesting, is see this roof, the way it's got this checkered pattern to it. Now, that would be a modern roof, I would say, giving support. But that is the style of the roofs that would have been in this temple, except they would be made out of hard wood. So this is a unique sort of element because we're not seeing the original roof, but this is really close. It's the closest we've ever been. And as I spy over my left shoulder, I can see a god. And here he is. Wow, hello. Oh, so cool. Let me just go down first. Look at the way that door, the way the light is framing that door just through there. That could well be intentional by the architects. Do you remember me saying this is in an odd sort of shape? Well, look at that. Doesn't that look so like some sort of portal? You know, you're going through a portal into another dimension. That's quite got me. Now that is a thing of absolute beauty. So let's go through and see if I end up in Victorian London, because I'll tell you the truth, it's where I've always wanted to go, but I've never achieved it yet. Oh my golly good go-go. Have a look at this. You never get to see them as good as this. Wow. Look at the detailing. The question that's going through my head is, how did the robbers miss this one? Because they got so much else. That is staggeringly beautiful. And below we have that room. There's a big step down. Here we go. And inside, oh, well done, Mr. iPhone. It's picking up the light when there is none. We have this large plinth, and here, you know, could well have been a statue of Shiva or Vishnu, you know, for those to come and worship and ask for their blessings. But what we're going to do is about turn and head back the way we came. I mean, we've already been spoiled with seeing that replication of a ceiling, seeing a portal that could take us to another dimension, and looking into the face of a god. Wow. Now this is the building we've just come out of, and here is our final one, which stands as a solitary island all on its own. Now this I hear of often quoted as a library, and they were actually used as libraries. There is proof of that. On these corners are nagas, those delightful cobra snakes of the Hindu myth. But inside is I don't know what. But what we are seeing yet again is no lintel. There was one here. We can see relics of it here and relics here at the edges, but it is gone. Now, wow, oh, wow, this was not a library. This was not a library. This, can you see this recess in the back here? The lines going here and here, and it's recessed back. There would have been an almighty statue in there. And that is approximately, I don't know, it's about 12 feet tall. So in this room would have been a god, but my goodness, he would have been so imposing. And yet again, we're getting the light coming through that would have illuminated his face as it illuminates my hand. Ha! Good goodness. It's a wonderful thing to have a strong imagination. It really is, because although it's not much, just imagine right there, looking down upon us, is an ancient God. I was thinking, how's the best way to end this video? And I don't honestly feel that standing in a dark room is the best way. But you know what? I'm kind of lucky because I've got an iPhone and it is doing an amazing job lighting this scene, because there is no light coming in here. It's only coming directly through this narrow doorway. And as I said just a moment ago, maybe that is intentional. Maybe that is how they designed it, because I am compelled to end this video here, because it shows you how tall and how big. I mean, I'm there full stretch and you can see the height. So please, just for one moment, imagine who stood here. And this is why I do this. This I find incredibly exciting. I'm sure people just stick their head into this room and say, oh, there's nothing in here. Oh my goodness, you are so wrong. Because what's in here is more than enough to draw an amazing picture in your mind, because it was at this very point a mighty, mighty God stood. And although we can't look into his face, we can certainly feel his presence. Wow, you are beautiful. I love this room. Well, what a great temple. We've looked into the face of gods. We've been in their presence. We've seen an original roof and an amazing lintel, and all in approximately 10 minutes. You can't knock that, can you? It only remains for me to say, this has been Mr. B of Forgotten Temples, Cambodia. If by chance you can sprinkle just a few coins to help me build this library, then my Patreon account is www.patreon.com/temples. Until next time, I wish you absolutely nothing but the very best. You take good care. Wow.